Hello friends, welcome back to GM Philosophy in the Morning. I'm the GM Philosopher. Today we're talking about engaging encounters. How do you make encounters engaging? How do you get your players really interested? Well, I'm going to give you my two biggest tips for how I make this happen. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's dive into it. Here at GM Philosophy, our goal is to empower game masters to run better games. We want you to run games that are more fun for you and for your players. So if that's your goal, then smash that thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button because you're in the right place. I also want to give you something. This is an ebook that I wrote that you can download for free. It's called Mastering the Game, 10 Essential GM Tips. If you want to go from zero to hero, really leveling up the quality of your games overnight, this ebook is very easy to download. You just sign up for my email list. Your download link will come in the first email. It's only 7 pages long, and it contains my top 10 most important tips for game masters who want to level up their games literally today. You'll definitely want to grab that. We also hold a lot of events on the Discord and on the YouTube channel. You can check our official calendar, link is in the description. Make sure you attend the events, it might help you because they're awesome and they can really help you to level up your game. In the description, you'll also find a link to our GM Philosophy journey. This is basically a list of all the steps that we can help you with here at GM Philosophy. If you're interested in really taking your game to the top level, identify which step you're on, and just follow the easy to follow list, click on the links, they'll take you exactly where you need to be. Boom. With that being said, let's dive into the topic of engaging encounters. As game masters, we want to run engaging encounters, and this is really good. Engaging encounters keep the players interested, but how do you do it? What are some practical steps you can take to actually make your encounters engaging to where players are like, yes, I love this session. I want to come back next time. This GM is awesome. They're amazing. They're running a great game. How do you get players to feel this way about your sessions? Well, engagement really starts with emotional connection. What is emotional connection and how does it apply to TTRPGs? Well, here's the answer. Emotional connection is basically stuff that goes on in the game that evokes emotions within your players. And there are 3 key emotions that we're looking to evoke when we want to really ramp up engagement for our players. So emotion number 1, we want to invoke that emotion of discovery, right? Discovering new things, the excitement of conquering the unknown. It's the same emotion that an adventurer feels when they're going to a new place that they've never been to before or exploring a new place that no other scientist has ever been to. This feeling of discovery is so exciting. And so this is why you want to be able to unveil surprises to your group. You want to unveil places in the world, interesting sights, interesting locations, strange forests, magical forts, really engaging dungeons, right? These types of places evoke that exploration emotion within your players, that exploration and discovery. And so you really want to invoke this to make your encounters really engaging. But that's not the only one. The second most potent emotion that you want to evoke when you are trying to design engaging encounters is curiosity. You want mystery. You want intrigue. You want to dangle the carrot in front of them. You want to show them a couple little details, but there's a lot hidden and they know it. This will drive your players into a frenzy wanting to know what lies beyond the dark veil of discovery. You put exploration in front of them, they're going to be like, oh, this is interesting. I want to figure out what's behind that door. What is through that mountain pass? Why did we hear those noises in the forest, right? This is all that. But then when they find a couple clues and they realize, there's something more intentional going on. There's some kind of plan. There's some kind of thing going on. But what is it? Now you're evoking curiosity. Why did that NPC walk up to us and say, beware of the silver frog, right? Like what was that about? That's curiosity. You want your players to be curious. You want them to be like racking their brain. Like, I have to know why that troll turned around, ran away, and started rubbing that silver bracelet that they were wearing, and then looking at us expecting something to happen. Why did they do that, right? Why did that little girl walk up to us and tell us that her orphan mother beats her and she's looking for help? And then her orphan mother comes and snatches her up and says, excuse me, I'm so sorry, and then drags her away. I've literally had that be an encounter on one of my sessions, and it went really, really well. The players are very curious. We want to evoke curiosity. This is a very powerful emotion for driving up engagement. And if you can evoke it, boom, you're going to have some big wins. Your players are going to be really enthralled with what you have going on. But that is not even the most important emotion. I have saved the most important emotion for last. And in fact, I'm going to break this emotion up into two different emotions because actually this is more like a category, but there are two different emotions associated with it. The first one is protectiveness. Now, you would be amazed at how powerful the emotion of like protectiveness, defensiveness, like, this character encounters an NPC, encounters some kind of situation, and their protective instincts get triggered because there's something bad going on. They want to protect someone. They see someone as being maybe victimized, or they see someone as being maybe weak, too weak to protect themselves, innocent, bullied, and this evokes a sort of protective instinct. This is one of the most powerful emotions to present situations for. And then to bring this emotion out in your players is really powerful for getting players engaged in the game. And it's pretty self-evident how you would go about this. You would present situations where you have like an NPC. Usually this is an NPC, and usually it's a friendly NPC. But you have an NPC who's basically pleading for their help, and they present this case where it's like they're oppressed, they're bullied, they're being beaten down by bigger, stronger forces who are bullying them, right? Or it's someone who appeals to the good feelings, the positive feelings, maybe even feelings of romance or feelings of friendship, feelings of camaraderie, feelings of loyalty. They appeal to these things in the character, and the character then sees the bad things happening to this NPC, and it evokes a sense of protectiveness over them. This is one of the most powerful forms of emotion you can present in a game to really get players involved. You will not see players get more engaged than when you successfully engage protectiveness over either an NPC or maybe even another player character. A lot of times it has to be an NPC. It won't be like over a non-sentient item or a location or an object, because those things are a little different. You can really evoke this over an animal companion, over a pet, a mount, right? These types of things, because these things could be more easily bullied, and then you can evoke that protective instinct. But there's another instinct, another emotion that is equally as powerful, and that is the emotion of sentimentality. This could take the form of romantic attraction. This could take the form of a friend pleading for help, but this is a little different than the emotion we just described a minute ago. This is sentimentality. This is the feeling of, man, I feel for this person. I have empathy for this person, or maybe even I'm attracted to this person. I love this person. And by person, I mean NPC or pet or mount, whatever. Obviously, the romance part of it is sort of optional. A lot of times it'll be either friend or romantic partner, but you can really make this work if it's a romantic partner. Like if you describe an NPC as attractive and they flirt with the PC, and if you do like romances in your games and you can get the player character to actually care about this NPC, like as a romantic interest for the character, then this can be a very powerful thing. But sentimentality, a sentimental connection, a sentimental caring can be such a powerful emotion to evoke. And this can really drive engagement. Why? Because the player character cares so much. Have you ever played in a game and had a great deal of sentimentality toward like an NPC that you cared dearly for, or maybe a romantic interest in an NPC that you cared dearly for, or you loved a mount, you had loyalty to them, they had been with you through thick or thin, and now they're being threatened, they're having a hard time, there's something going on with them, and it's the fault of XYZ. Maybe it's the fault of the big bad or the fault of the government or whatever it is. You will not see unbridled engagement just going full force at your campaign the way you will if you properly engage sentimentality and threaten it. This is such a a powerful form of emotional engagement. And I know that it sounds a bit like a dirty trick. It sounds a little dirty. It sounds a little bit manipulative maybe, but it's not manipulative because it's about story. What does the character care about? Don't forget, a D&D campaign is the story of the characters. That's what you're telling. The characters tell the story. The players are there to run their characters. You're there to fill in the pixels around those characters. But the story is about the characters. What pixels you put in front of them, they're free to accept or reject. They don't have to care about their mount that much. They don't have to care about that romantic interest that much. However, if you are a really skillful GM and you put really emotionally evocative pixels in front of them, they're going to get attached to it. And this is good. This is good because when characters are emotionally drawn in, the game takes on more meaning for them. The game becomes more real for them. The immersion becomes more powerful. And the feelings keeping them engaged become stronger. This is all good. This is good for your game. This is good for the players. This is good for the TTRPG/D&D experience. How are you going to do it? That's up to you. This is the creative part of it. The creative part of it is finding ways to present situations, present NPCs, get them to buy in, get the players to buy in, and then invest long term. Invest really long term in it. Spend 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 sessions building rapport, and then threaten it. That will engage sentimentality very powerfully. And in my experience, this is one of the most powerful emotions to evoke if you really want to drive engagement, because player characters will literally be on the edge of their seat. They will not even be able to check their phone. They will be so anxious over what's going on with the object of their sentimentality in the game. And this is so powerful. So boom, call it a dark secret if you will, but I don't think it's a dark secret. I think it's legitimate. It's storytelling. This is what evokes our emotions about our favorite movies and shows. So boom, there you go. One more thing I'd like to discuss. I want to give a huge shout out to our Ko-Fi supporters. Thank you so much for supporting the content. I especially want to thank our latest gold level supporter, Craig. Craig, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for giving back to GM Philosophy. Thank you so much for helping us to make such massive progress on the YouTube, in the Discord, and in the email. I really appreciate you. I appreciate all of our Ko-Fi supporters. Thank you so much for giving, for supporting, and for being there for us day after day, month after month. Thank you so much. And that, my friends, is going to be a wrap. Thank you so much for coming back to another episode of GM Philosophy in the Morning. I'm here every single day sharing tips, tricks, and advice about how to become a better game master. Roll some D100s for me at your next game. And I will see you awesome people on the next one.